So something I have noticed personally, just because of how I use my cameras, that is a big difference between, obviously there's a big difference between using a full frame camera and an APS-C camera. However, I do still have to revert to my Canon even for some of my own shoots sometimes. Like this and my R6, this is my R8, this and my R6 are my professional cameras. I pretty much save them, and then my 5D4 is my backup. I save those for just my professional gigs because that's like extending the life of my cameras, and I have other cameras that I can use for fun stuff and for my own shoots. However, like today, my husband and I are going to take do our own like just couples photo shoot tonight for Valentine's Day. Because I don't get dressed up as often anymore. And so I said, how about we do that tonight? The problem is, if I want to make it go quick and easy, I need to use my Canon instead of my xt30ii Mark II, only because of how the interval timer works. And this was the same issue I had with Sony as well. I saw there was a firmware update for my xt32 and I got really excited. I was like, maybe that's in the firmware update. It was not. It doesn't refocus when you use the interval timer. So you have to make sure it's focused. Now granted, if I'm putting my husband in the frame and then I go join him, that should be easy enough. However, the other thing is with that too, is that the flip screen obviously only goes that far. So you can't flip it up or out to see where you are in the frame, which is the other important thing. So those are two big things for me. And there may be other Fuji cameras that do that well. I don't know, because this is the most advanced of the Fuji cameras I have. Like I do have my X100V and my X70, but this is the only interchangeable lens camera from Fuji that I have, and I'm perfectly happy with it. Like for trips and stuff, this is all I'm taking anymore. Like this and my other Fujis. I'm not taking this on my big trips anymore. But this, being able to flip the screen around so that we can see where we are in frame, but also having the interval timer that will just refocus and retake the photo after each like shot. If I want to like move and take like a more artsy close-up shot, like we can do that. I don't have to reset the camera. So this makes that process so much faster and streamlined than using a camera where I would have to go reset it and just basically use just the 10-second timer, because we've used the interval timer on this before, but then like half the photos were blurry because it just didn't quite focus, or we moved just enough that it, yeah. I need the refocusing, and that's the big key. That and the screen flipping out. So those are something that I would love to see from Fuji in the future, if it's not already an option on some of their other cameras. Like, I don't know about the XS10, 20, whatever. I don't know much about the other cameras because I pretty much stick to the ones I have, and I love this camera. It is so convenient, it is so small and tiny, and it still gets a really good like depth of field because I have the 35 1.4 on here. So it's like a 50. And I know that the 1.4 is not going to be the 1.4 like on a full frame. I get that. But it's phenomenal, and I love the photos that come out of this camera with this lens. I also love this one. This is with the 50-1.2 EF lens because I didn't really feel the need to upgrade that. But I wish I could just do the stuff I can do on this, like on this one. So that's all. But that's a thought that I have for Fuji that I would love to see, is having an interval timer that refocuses, because Sony also didn't do that. When I had my A7C, that drove me insane. So that's part of the reason I sold it. I was like, not happy with that. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I would love to have a flip out screen for that reason. Like I know they say a lot of photographers don't want the flip out screen, but there are also situations where a lot of us do want them, especially those of us who try to make our own portfolio work using ourselves sometimes, because sometimes like I get creative ideas, but I don't have someone to model for me. So I just do it myself or do it with my husband, but having that flip out screen is ideal for those reasons. And I know for other people it's for vlogging and stuff. Like that's not my purpose. My purpose is just being able to see where I am in the frame and not having to like set a mirror behind my camera, and that's more complicated too. So that, and having the interval timer refocus, like those are big, I think. So